Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's race here in RSF1 on the Formula 1 2020 game. I am your host for today, C Butler, and we are here at the Hungaroring for what is the 10th round of the third season of the Xbox One Tier 1 Elite Series. We are about 3/4 of the way through qualifying now. Drivers will be starting their last runs very soon. As we can see here, Alan Hugo getting ready to, go out on his outlap here. So, the current standing so far, you have RBR 9709 in P1 with a 14.2. That is the benchmark. Oz Formula 7 tenths behind, a 114.9. A new driver, a name that I'm going to attempt to pronounce, but hopefully I don't bastardize it too much. Zelosiati in the Haas with a 115 flat so far. Mattia with a 15.3. Banana Peel 26 with a 15.6. Alan Hugo and DRC Jared's not setting representative times yet. And Jared, in fact, either having been disconnected or disqualified from the session. So that means then that, he's in a situation where he is going to be starting towards the back. However, Jamie, another driver, was not set a lap yet. So we're going to go on board then with Zach as he starts what will presumptively be his final run, unless he messes something up here, or is doing a double out lap. He's on the medium, so he's hoping to start medium to hard. I think a lot of the drivers are hoping to do that. So back on board with Zach as we come through turn 3, I believe. Coming towards the end of sector 1, let's get on board. Through the fast left-hander, it's a heavy braking zone to the right, trying to keep the car under control, staying off the curb, running back off to the curb nicely on the left side, braking around the 50-meter mark, getting nice and tight over those apexes on the curbs. A car ahead, so looking to get around that racing point, who is presumably on an outlap. That is, I'm Death Bro, so we'll see if Death Bro can get out of the way. Coming through the end of the sector, Death Bro does get out of the way, and Zach is able to hold it together through the end of the second sector on the mediums. Comes around under the liquid molly walkover, through that tight left-hander here, the penultimate corner of the track, swinging back left for the right-hander. We will see where this man has finished on the mediums in 3, 2, 1. And that is a 1:15.1 on the mediums for Zach JW22 then. Other drivers on laps right now. We are with Alan Hugo towards the end of his lap. We'll see if, actually, I think he's starting a lap, so this will be another one to go on board with. DRS Open as we start the lap with Alan Hugo in the Haas, currently sitting P7 overall. Braking around the 75-meter mark, trying to get a nice tight line on that curb while staying off it, running out just short of the curb, trying to keep it from wheel spinning there. DRS Open into turn 2, into the left-hander here, nice and tight towards the curb. Both lines work tight and wide, into turn 3, through the fast right, getting ready for turn 4, up here. It's going to be almost flat, a very quick lift through that left, keeps it within the white lines very well there, through the right-hander of turn 5, I think. I'm losing track of the turns, but we get back to the 50-meter mark, a little bit deep maybe, having to compromise that second part, able to drag it out to the curb, over the inside there, back to the right. Qualifying is now over. We continue forward. We have the Haas of Alan Hugo finishing up his lap towards the end of sector 2. How is he going? He's looking alright so far. We'll see how he ends up here on the mediums, braking just before the curb, over the right-hander, under the liquid molly bridge once again, through the left. It's going to be a tight penultimate corner then for Alan Hugo, the Kiwi driver. Looking to make a mark here on today's race. Can he get pole position? What is his lap going to be compared to RBR 19? It's a 14.1. Sorry, a 14.2. And RBR 9709 has increased his time to a 114.1, so what would have been a capable lap for Alan Hugo to take pole position has just been moved over slightly. The bar has been set at a different level. Alrighty then, so we are waiting for one of the drivers. I'm not sure which one. My guess is Banana Peel finishing up his lap on the soft, so he could potentially try and pip pole position. We'll see what happens here. Or not. I'm a bit confused as to what's happening right now. Probably Death Bro. Huh. I guess we're gonna have to wait out the timer? Alrighty then, so we have our top 3 then, pretty well tucked away. We have RBR 9709 in the Alfa Romeo in P1, Alan Hugo P2, Zolia City, I'm just gonna call him Zolo from now on, Zolo in P3, Son. Zolo in P3, Oz Formula in P4, Zach JW22 in P5, P6 we have Mattia, P7 we have Banana Peel 26, P8 we have DRC Jared, P9 Jamie JW21, P10 New Zealand Denim, and P11 we have I'm Deaf Bro. So we're just waiting for things to sort themselves out here as we get ready to go underway at Hungary. And there we go. We are at the end of the session. So P2 then for Alan Hugo, the Kiwi driver, RBR 9709, taking P1 then with a 114.1. P3 we have Zolo on the softs. So a potentially different strategy to see there for the Haas teammate of Alan Hugo. It could actually cause some issues towards the start because, well, the softs going to be quicker off the line and could cause some potential tripping over of the Haas drivers between each other. P4, Oz Formula, and Zach JW22 rounds out your P5 and the AlphaTauri. So a decent spread of tire strategies there for the start of this race here, and we are looking forward to getting underway on this one in just a short moment. Then loading into the track. Here we go. And we will just be waiting momentarily for all of the drivers to choose their strategies and fuel loads, the kind of normal weight stuff that we do at this stage of the race. Hopefully things will get done and dusted relatively quick, and we'll get underway here for what will be about a 40-minute race around the Hungaroring. If this is the first time you're joining us, this is the Race Spec F1 2020 Xbox One Elite Series Tier 1 race, Season 3, Round 10 at Hungary. The Hungaroring, a track that many consider to be a track. It is quite a nice track, but it is a very technical, complex track, which doesn't always lend itself to the best overtaking, but we'll see if that can be remedied in today's race. All drivers taking their time off of the practice start then. We have our grid. Jared is kind of just standing still right now, so we'll see how things work out. Oh, pardon. Alrighty. So, let's go for your grid once again. In P1, we have RBR 9709, and P2, we have Alan Hugo for the Haas. P3, Alan Hugo's teammate on the softs, Zolo. P4, we have Oz Formula. P5, we have Zach JW backed up behind by ABR Mattia, his teammate. P7, we have Banana Peel, as Jared was disqualified from the outlap, so was Venom, so I would imagine a bit of contact there. Jamie JW21 in the McLaren, and I'm Deaf Bro back in the Racing Point. So it should be an interesting one to get underway then. We cannot wait. We cannot wait. This is a bit of a more intimate setting for the race today. A few fewer drivers to be to be looking at today. Only 11, so one driver only will be finishing outside of the points. It'll be interesting to see which one of the drivers that will be. No Renaults, notably, on the grid. Other teams that aren't on the grid, I don't see any Ferraris. I don't see any... Who else do I see? Who am I missing, guys? I don't see any Ferraris. I don't see any Renaults. We have a Racing Point. We have McLaren. We have a Mercedes. We have a Red Bull. We have an AlphaTauri. We have a Williams. We have a Haas. And we have an Alfa Romeo. I guess we're just missing Ferrari and Renault then. So we'll pretend that they've been stricken with the old Kovo. As Defbro in the Racing Point, the final driver to come up to the line and get ready to get underway. Then here at Hungary, the lights are switching on. The cars are de-ghosting. Everyone's getting ready to get the jump on the start. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light. Drop the clutch and rev the wheels. We are underway. It looks like a good start then from AB Amatia. And a lot of drivers are jostling around the place. We're kind of we're being left behind. I'm not sure what's going on here. So on board with Oz Formula, then looking ahead, we have some drivers ghosted. So it looks to be a bug in the game. But Alan Hugo able to hold off his teammate for now. AB Amatia has a decent start. Let's see if we can't fix... Oh, and a half spin there for Matia. He's able to hold it. A bit of a drift around the outside there. Back on the way. So we're going to try and fix the ticker here quickly. Let's get the spectator menu up. And we want to fix the gaps. Surely. There we go. Brilliant. Alright, and let's get some position changes. Details going on then. So, in P1 then, we still have RBR 9709, who has looked commandingly up the front. However, just behind we have Alan Hugo, 6 tenths, who has been able to show that he has the pace to make things work. And then for him today, Jamie with a good start off the bat. I'm Defbro moving forward. It is Alan's teammate and New Zealand Venom, along with Oz Formula, who have lost positions at the start. So not too great for them here today then. But overall, a decently clean start then to get underway at the hungaroring. On board with Alan Hugo as he pushes up to try and close the gap to the car ahead. And we have one driver pitting, that is Oz Formula. We're on lap 3 already. Can't be right. I don't see how DRS has just been enabled. I think that's a bit of a bug. The game showing its ugly head once again in these kind of areas. A driver to look at then for today will go on board with I'm Defbro, who will be trying to storm his way up the field in that Racing Point. A driver who's shown very strong pace throughout the season, potentially putting a bit of a challenge on himself to make as many positions up as he can. He's starting on the hards, so looking at an inverse strategy towards the end of this race. Quite a smart move. Banana Peel up ahead. Can Defbro try and close that gap a little bit more? He should have the pace advantage to make it happen on the Williams up ahead. We'll see just how things work out as Banana Peel runs a bit wide there under the Emirates walkover, coming through the first corner of Sector 3. How will things... A bit of a lock up there for Banana Peel. Right on the back of Banana Peel then is Defbro, who is looking for openings and opportunities to make something happen. No DRS yet, as it is only the end of the second lap. On to lap 3. Dropping into the slipstream is I'm Defbro. Can he make something happen? Potentially a big lunge from the Racing Point driver around the outside. He goes. Can he make it stick? He's looking for the inside of the following corner. Bit of a tap there between the two drivers. It was an ambitious move by I'm Defbro. Banana Peel for a bit too ambitious and didn't leave as much space as perhaps he could have. We'll call that a racing incident for the time being and continue on as I'm Defbro. Let's keep pushing forward. The first penalty of the day is AB Amatia with 3 seconds for multiple warnings at the time. Penalties for corner cutting. This is still a good battle going on here. Another driver who could potentially be looking to make a move is the RC Jared on Zach. However, towards the pointy end of this field, it is proving a bit more difficult to make moves, and Jared is on potentially a worse strategy on the softs. So we'll see how those tires work out for him. Back now to Defbro, who might try and make something else happen. He is gaining considerably on Banana Peel, under braking. A slight tap there, potentially. I'm not sure if that was netcode. Sticks it through the inside, and that is I'm Deaf Bro through to P7 now. Further up the field, we have DRC Jared looking for moves. The pit window is open around lap 4 to lap 7 for a medium 2-stop strategy for the drivers on the softs, so that might be what we see Jared on. Moving forward, lap 4, P5 on board with Jared. The two drivers, the AlphaTauri drivers, up ahead, holding position P3, P4. It's be a good points haul for the AlphaTauri drivers. Up ahead, Alan Hugo is challenging RBR 9709 and looking for opportunities to make his white car stand out against the other white cars on the field today. That, of course, being the Alfa Romeo, the Haas, and the AlphaTauri. Maybe a slight mistake there from Alan Hugo through the start of, the middle of the second sector there. Towards the end, final quarter of the second sector, can he close the gap up a little bit? He needs to make sure that he's in that DRS activation zone with 4 RBR up ahead. And it looks like he still has a lot more energy than potentially drivers around. Yep, Mattia is using up a lot of energy trying to stay in this DRS train, in this battle. Alan Hugo closing the gap. Both drivers seem to have about the same ERS capacity now. DRS open for Alan Hugo. No overtake yet, so he's just working on closing that gap a little bit. And he does just that through the corner. Will we see overtake here? No. So, Alan Hugo biding his time for another lap. Further back, we have Jamie and Deaf Bro. Too wide, going through the left-hander here. Into turn 2. Who's going to make it work? Deaf Bro just gets by. Takes a bit more initiative on the line, commands him towards the outside, and forces Jamie to slot back in behind. And Jamie runs a little bit wide there, but that's potentially a warning. So some good battles happening off the bat here. It's now up to Deaf Bro to try and close the gap to Jared, who is on the softs. So we'll see if that is something that can happen. Zach is challenging his teammate Mattia right now, so I'm not sure if there's been a change in position. There has been off the start, I'll give you that much. As Zach gets his first warning for multiple issues, as we have a driver. There was a yellow flag. It appears to be Jamie, so I'm not sure what's happening to Jamie, but he is dropping down the order as a move there from RBR, from Alan Hugo, actually. The challenge for the lead. RBR holds up the inside. Can Alan lunge around the outside? Slight contact there. He's going to stick it around the outside. Looking to try and make the move happen. And he's going to have to back out this time here. RBR runs a little bit deep. Shame we missed that one, but we did have a challenge for the lead from Alan Hugo then. Remember, Alan was only about half a tenth off of RBR in qualifying, so this should be a close one right down to the wire. They both have the same tire strategies. Alan should have a bit more energy from sitting behind, using the DRS to kind of prop it up a little bit. And getting ready to come into this one. A little bit deep there from RBR. Alan is trying all his best to get as good a run as possible. Overtake on, DRS open. Do we have overtake ahead? No, we do not. So RBR is going to potentially try and duck back into the slipstream. Hold the inside line. A big lunge there from RBR to try and hold the position. They're still too wide. Alan Hugo runs off the track. RBR concedes and pulls alongside still. A tap there from Alan, getting his elbows out, trying to make this move stick, and it does. So that is Alan Hugo up into P1. And that battling has let Zach kind of close the gap a little bit. We'll see if RBR can challenge back. Or if he'll keep slipping backwards. The likes of Mattia and the likes of Zach, who are right there. And something has happened to Jared, I'm not sure. He might have pitted already. In fact, let's pull that up. stops. If so, Jared and the other soft runners seem to have pitted already. RBR is doing everything he can to try and close that gap and make sure that he is in position, as we have a yellow sector 2. That is Jamie, once again having issues, so maybe some setup work needs to be done on that car. Not quite too sure. Alan seems to be pulling away a bit here from RBR. It'll be interesting to see if he can pull that one back in. As another yellow then for Alan's teammate. Potentially causing some issues. Swap between the McLaren drivers, Osweiler and Jamie. DRC Jared puts in the fastest lap there with a 117.4 on the mediums. So he is going to be closing up that gap a fair amount. We have this train up the front here for the battle for the lead. And Jamie in the pits now. We'll see how this one works out for him. So let's have a look at tire compounds then. So the drivers are all on the mediums or the hards at this point in the race. Which means we could see some interesting stuff happening a bit further in. ABL Mattia gets, I believe, the second penalty for cutting. At some point, it's been a switch between Mattia and Zach as well to try and fight that one a bit further up. Crucially, Alan has gapped RBR enough now to avoid a DRS. And Zach, that gives him a bit of an opportunity to try and slip past RBR, or at least get a bit of his ERS back. You can see that DRS open. Jared with a 17.4. Again, slightly quicker than this last one. So let's go on board with Jared, who is currently the fastest car in the Red Bull. We'll keep an eye on if any battles happen. Going for the left-hander then. A bit of a wider line, short shift at fourth. Through the right-hander, nice and flat, easy flat. It's going to dip out into the grass here. We're actually on the curb for this one. And just taking it a bit safer than the drivers ahead. Right up to that curb there, bit of wheel spin on exit. Braking around the 50-meter mark. On the bump, over the grass, ducking relatively early onto the apex. Nice and slow. This corner is always slower than you think it is. There's 2 seconds now between RBR and Alan. So we're actually going to go back on board with this battle for P2 as a potential mistake for RBR. Or that could just be lag on my end. But we do have overtake and DRS now. 5-10 separate the two drivers. Is that going to be enough for Zach to try and challenge somewhere? We will see. So no challenges coming from Zach on this lap. If I was Zach, I would actually say hold off, try and get an undercut. And take an early pit. Not now, but probably about 5 laps, I reckon. You can do 15 on the mediums, make a 20 on the hards, why not? If you're just joining us, this is the Race Spec F1 Xbox One Elite Series for Tier 1. This is the 10th round of the 3rd season here at the Hungaroring in wonderful, beautiful Hungary. I have a friend from Hungary, or at least he used to be a friend. He's a nice guy. A little bit off topic there, but hey, what can you do? Having a bit of a lull here. Lull. If there's anyone in the chat, feel free to drop a message, drop a comment, get a conversation going. You want any info, let me know. I'm your man to make that happen, hopefully. And if you're wondering who that man is, I am C Butler, C Butler. The commentator for today another issue then for Jamie, who retires or crashes out the race potentially. We'll see if we can get an angle on that, as that's a virtual safety car. This could work out very well for Alan Hugo if he decides to pit early for 25 laps on hards. It can be done. I don't see why not. So if he can get to the pits before the VSC ends, this could be a big advantage to help him out in the race. It might compromise him a little bit towards the end of the race, but we'll see how it all works out. Is he gonna duck in? Yes. Yes, he is. And I'd be surprised if the other drivers don't as well, as it's Mattia staying out. That's the one problem with having equally kind of trained drivers, as they've actually been juked then. VSC ended just as they entered the pit, so they won't get as big an advantage as they might have hoped then. This one might actually fall into Mattia's hands. So the pit comes Alan Hugo. Be interesting to see how Mattia holds on these tires now. Go on board with your current leader on track. It's not too much happening right now. We do still have Zach right behind RBR, and this could be interesting in terms of who can get used to those hards quicker. Whoever does will have a clear advantage over the other driver at this stage in the race. We'll see when Mattia comes up. I suspect he'll come in about 3 laps. 2 laps. As Mattia is in the pits now. So go on board with Mattia for his pit stop. See how things work out. Alright, that was interesting. Looks like that 1 lap didn't help him out too much. Looks to be about where they would have pitted anyway, so... not causing too much of an issue. Interesting question now. Where will Death Bro come out? Because he's obviously on the hards from the start. He'll do about a 20 to 22 lap stint on these tires, and then come in for a set of fresh mediums. Get out there and do his thing. And it'll be interesting to see just how... we have these bugs still. It'll be interesting to see just the difference between tires at the end. Alan Hugo gets a 3-second time penalty. That's a pretty crucial one. Although he is currently 3.9 seconds ahead of RBR. The pit window now is apparently open for medium runners on a one-stop strategy. So, theoretically, they shouldn't have pitted yet, but they have. So we'll see how these tires go until the end. I'm getting kind of annoyed at that bug. Is it fixed? No, it's not. Alright, we got Zach still about 5 tenths behind RBR. He's just not been able to make the progress he needs to in order to close that gap. We're going to go on board with him to see him try and get closer. It is, of course, hard when you're dealing with dirty air. But I suspect his energy harvesting hasn't been too great the last few laps either. So 8 tenths between the Alfa Romeo and the AlphaTauri driver. This is, of course, the battle for Alpha supremacy out here on the track. And unfortunately, not really close enough. And he is using his overtake to try and stay within that DRS window. So I don't see him having enough energy to make an overtake anytime soon. We are, of course, only about a third, nearly halfway through this race. As Oz Formula gets a 3-second time penalty. We are looking a little rough through there. Zach holding the gap around 7 to 8 tenths. See if RBR is able to gap a bit further. Still within DRS for the first activation zone. 8 tenths now between Alan and Jared. So that's another battle we'll keep an eye on. It's probably the battle where we'll see more action due to a difference in tire compound. So we are going to go on board with Alan up at the front with the Haas. See how his progress increases on Jared. Just as a note, we have Oz Formula exiting the pits on his hards, so hoping to make the tires last a little bit longer in the first stint. Seems to have been able to do that. A pretty close battle then for P2 right now. Venom has retired. So not quite sure why he's done that, but he's done it nonetheless. Thankfully he did it in the pit lane to avoid a safety car of any sorts. Alan is still right up on the back of DRC Jared here. Looking to make something happen. 4 tenths, 5 tenths separate the drivers as they enter the DRS zone. Alan has a fair amount of energy. Will he be able to use it? Yes, he will. But he's not really gaining on Jared as much as he might like. He might be able to make something work here. We'll see. No, he's quite far back there. Quite far back. So you could probably spot off the right side there. New Zealand Venom's car. And Mercedes. As Oz Formula is making a move there on Banana Peel. Caught it late, but that was a lunge up the inside from Oz Formula to make the move happen and stick on Banana Peel there. He is on the fresher hards compared to the 10-lap-old mediums of Banana Peel. So, almost comparative to what we're seeing between Alan Hugo and Jared right now. So then, behind we have the 2 AlphaTauri drivers trying to make their way past the Alfa Romeo. It's not really working out right now. This battle for P2, however, gets tighter and tighter. Alan right on the tail of Jared, but he's still going to be too far back heading into turn 3. Turn 2? Can never quite tell. The end of Sector 1, these drivers are pretty damn close. Remember, Jared has to make another pit stop, though. So he's probably buying time for himself and Death Bro, slowing down Alan here. Two tenths right now in this So I would be surprised if we didn't see an attempt at a pass on on Jared by Alan. Through the right hand we go. 5 tenths is the separation. A decent amount of energy. Will he burn through it? He will try. Where will this gap sit as we enter the corner? Jared, presumably using a lot of his energy trying to stay ahead as well. We'll see if Alan can make something work here. But again, it looks like he's too far back. He's really not able to find a little bit of extra pace he needs to make the pass, and more troublesome to him will be the fact that his tires will be feeling the pain of sitting behind this close to another car for the number of laps they happen. And he might just notice his gap to RBR slowly slip away. Small lock up there from Alan Hugo as we enter the penultimate corner. He is closer this time, so we will see if something can happen here. On board then with Alan. Will he send something this time? He will! Lay on the brakes! Just keeping it shy. Jared holds it around the outside, and my throat is dying from that one there. However, RBR and Zach battling away, briefly seemingly switching positions. So Zach starting to make inroads on RBR as well. So we have an issue that's a Haas, and that looks to be I'm not sure what's happened there, but Alan Hugo has dropped back tremendously from Jared. And there seems to have been a mistake from Deathbro as well, as he's, well, Jared's getting about 1.2 seconds on him. So now the closest battle is still this battle here for P4. Zach gets a 3-second time penalty there. We will see how this one shapes up. As Def in the pits now, he'll be switching onto the mediums. A very important pit there for the Racing Point driver. Make sure he gets out alright, and he does. See if Zach is able to challenge RBR once again. I presume he won't be able to for the next couple laps. I think he will have thrown a lot of what he had into his first attempt on the Alfa Romeo driver. So, like a cougar in the wings, he'll just be looking to wait to pounce once again. Looking for those mistakes that RBR might make. Looking for those opportunities. Something to happen. Question is, what will happen? 15 laps to go. We are past the halfway mark by a little bit. Jared still needs to make his second stop. So it could be interesting to see how that one plays out. DRS for Zach. Pushing forward. What will happen? Nothing yet. Bit of a waiting game happening with this one here, as has been the case for a lot of other battles on track. Currently in the net lead is Alan Hugo, once all pit stops shake out. See if, unless Jared wants to try and stretch those mediums out all the way to the end, but I don't really see that being possible. He's already taken the mediums on the longest stint of any other driver in the race so far. And he could take another set towards to the end now, as Mattia runs wide there, potentially a mistake from the driver there, the AlphaTauri driver, the second driver in this train. Alan working hard to close that gap once again to Jared. Currently sitting about 1.2 seconds back. Zach still trying to close that gap as well to Mattia, as Defbro sets a fastest lap. Half a second faster than any of the other laps that were able to be put down so far. So, I wonder. Do we get... Yeah, let's see the fastest laps of all the drivers. So the fastest laps of the leaders right now are about 17.3 and a 17.7. On two different compounds. Fastest lap of Defbro is nearly a second clear of the drivers ahead, so I can see him closing that gap really quick. He's only 5 seconds behind, 5.5. He's 11 seconds behind the leaders. Will it be enough for him to try and take the win here today? Pull the telemetry up and go on board with a lap of Zach. We'll stay silent for this one just to let you see what's happening. So come across the line. There's Jared in for his next pit stop. That was the onboard lap there with Zach JW22. Waiting a while to come around the corner and see what is actually happening. So Alan has taken the lead once again. I'd say Jared's probably out of the running for the lead, being 20 seconds back, unless he can pull 2 seconds a lap on the cars ahead, and even then he has to make passes. Jared, Defbro can still fight for a podium here. I think Alan can take a pretty decent win here, though. Bit wide there from Zach. He's pushing with what seems to be everything he has to try and close that gap, and he's doing a pretty good job. It's 5 tenths at this time. But just behind is the racing point. He is closing quite well as Defbro. We'll see if he can make something happen with it at the end of the race. This DRS Open, 5 tenths separate the drivers, 6 tenths rather. But I suspect he'll be too far back once again. Mattia doing a really good job to hang in on this train here, and he's going to be playing a pretty important role towards the end, as the gap now is 3.3 seconds to Defbro behind. it'll be neat to see whether or not he'll play second fiddle. I think Mattia will play a strong role here in fending off Def Bro as best as possible and providing that extra little buffer to Zach ahead as he continues to try and challenge RBR. But that's just a strategist to me. Coming around the final bend once again. DRS open, overtake on. Will it be enough? Doubtful from this distance. Will we see Zach try and make a big move on RBR at some point? It could just happen. It could just happen. 2.5 is the gap to Def Bro behind. And he's a capable passer, so it'll be interesting to see how he's able to do. With 8 laps remaining, Alan's pretty much gone at this point. Unless he makes a mistake, he's probably got this one in the bag. It comes down now to this battle for second. And we're going to stick on board with Def Bro for a little while as he tries to close up that gap and just see... Oh, a 3-second time penalty for Alan. I haven't seen RBR get any penalties yet, so if he can try and close that gap to 6 seconds... Or try and see if Alan makes another time penalty mistake. He could still have this one yet. Def Bro 1.5 seconds behind now. He can just about make out the battle up ahead. It looks a lot bigger than it is on the replay cameras, but when you jump on board with a driver such as we are here, it really puts in perspective just how small the gaps are already. Up ahead through the start of Sector 2. A little wide there for Def Bro. Just grazing that inside curve, doing a very good job to control the car. He's closing quite well. He's within us. He may there. In fact, there it is. He's within a second of Mattia ahead now. So he'll have DRS on this lap. So very good job there for Def Bro to close that gap. And he is on the fresher tires on the softer compound. So will he be able to make it up to the podium positions with 7 laps to go? That's the question. So Def Bro is a good 6 tenths behind now. Zach had a little look up ahead. Nothing really came from it though. We're going to go on board with the second driver in this train, Zach. And this is a battle for P3 with 6 laps remaining for this race. Strategies converge. It comes down now to the driver and who will win out on this one. Zach has been pushing the entire time. Could Mattia potentially cause some issues later on? As Def Bro's right on tail. Def Bro, 3-second time penalty, crucially, for corner cutting there. So that could cause them some issues later on if the race finishes this close with classification. Same for Mattia. Mattia gets a little bit squirrely through there. Zach gets a 3-second time penalty, so that looks to even everyone out once again. Def Bro, 14%. Mattia, 14%. Zach. These guys are all in the same ERS percentages. So we'll see if anyone is able to get some sort of advantage. If anyone would be, it'd be Def Bro. He's right on the tail of Mattia. He's got the better tires, fresher tires. Will he send something up the inside of Mattia? He will! Very ambitious move there for the Racing Point driver. And has he made this one stick? It looks like he has. We didn't get the camera angle to finish off that one there, but a good move there from the Pink Panther up ahead. He's now got to try and dispose of Zach to get into that podium position and then try and grab P2 from RBR. But that crucially puts Mattia in the danger zone of dropping out of range of this DRS train. And that could cause him some issues later on. Zach now, it is crucial to try and get past RBR, or could he be a bit more cautious with Def Bro? Let him by and then try and get the pickings from a battle between those two and between Def Bro and RBR. That could give him an opportunity to try and pinch a little bit from both of them, but let's be honest, I think once Def Bro gets past, there's no looking back, as he does have those better tire compounds right now. 3/10 back is Zach. Oh, is Def from Zach. Def, however, gets a terrible run and will look to be relegated another lap behind Zach. This driver's pushing everything to the limit. 4 laps to go. Alan Hugo 9 seconds clear from this train now. Big lock up there from Def Bro. The Racing Point driver still behind the AlphaTauri driver up ahead. These three really battling away. Oswald in the pits, so presumably to go for fastest lap. Which isn't a bad call. He has the gap, so why not? Def Bro is right on the tail of Zach now. You've got to look at those hard tires. I think they've got to be aching after 18 laps. Meanwhile, you got Def Bro. He's going to be running towards that crossover point. Those mediums will be falling off a lot quicker than the hards. As he looks to the inside there of Zach, a tap there. Oh, it's a half spin. Elbows out from the Racing Point driver as he gets past Zach. However, that might have been his own undoing, as Zach will have DRS. Crucially, Def Bro doesn't. So dropping back to Zach. Will he try to make something happen? Swishes the inside, does Def Bro. Trying to hold around the outside, looks for a switchback. Isn't going to get there around the corner, and that is crucially for Def. P3 pretty much confirmed there. So now Def is going to be trying to close that gap at least to a second to RBR ahead. RBR the last bastion for this train. We're trying to hold off Def. Def not really in the fight for the lead anymore. He is quite a ways ahead of... Alan's quite a ways ahead. Nearly 10 seconds now. But Def is managing to close up on RBR here. So making the inverse strategy work very well for himself is Def Bro. At the end of Sector 3, 6/10 separated drivers ahead, braking just about the curb, running that curb nice and over, taking the curb on the outside. I'm going to say curb a lot here because he gets on the curb there, trying to avoid that inside curb. Not getting all the way to the outside curb there, but taking a bit of the pit lane entry. Use all the track you can, you know. Running out to the outside curb there. 5/10 separate the drivers, so potentially looking for the move next lap. He has 2 more laps to try and make P2 stick against RBR up ahead. Meanwhile, it seems to have just been left the 2 AlphaTauris scrapping away behind. Oz Formula will be looking to make a fastest lap appearance in this race here. As Oz Formula gets a 3-second time penalty on his outlap. We're going to keep an eye on the battle up ahead, but we are going to go on board with Oz Formula as he... That is so unlucky. I am so sorry. That's Def Bro pass there. And I think I did catch the trail end of Def Bro's wing coming off. This changes everything as Jared's now caught up to this train as well. It's just got a whole lot more interesting. It's a 5-way battle with 3 laps to go. Jared up the inside of Mattia, looking to make that move stick on the junior team. Mattia up the inside, getting his elbows out. They're both going to have DRS. Just come through here, DRS open. Jared has a little bit more overtake, so should be able to make this one work. Oz Formula retires from the session. A lunge up the inside from Mattia. Not going to work out here. Death Bro is challenging, being challenged by RB ahead. Up the inside switches Zach. This is a crazy battle for P2 here. This train is getting intense as hell. Too wide through the fast left-hander. They go. And way deep is Zach. He's going to lose a couple of positions there. Jared switches the inside. Mattia holds around the outside once again. Bumped off by Jared is Mattia. Zach going to get back through. The two teammates jostling for position there. And looking to have taken themselves a little bit out of this fight then. Jared still just behind. He's got the best tires. Seems to be a bit oversteery. Jared has the same tires. Sorry, Deathbro has the same tires. But he has front wing damage. They're about to enter the final lap. This is going to go every which way. You cannot ask me which one of these drivers will finish in front on track. I cannot tell you here. Oz Formula leaves the session. DRS open. Deathbro is going to be the one that slips back a fair amount here. Jared challenging. 3 wide into turn 1. Here they go. Around the outside goes Jared. Through the switchback looks Deathbro. He's going to hold on the outside. RBR gets DRS, and it's going to be up to any of these drivers to make something happen, something stick. RBR fell back to third for a while there, but he is going to hold on to P2 for the time being. Deathbro crucially gets another 3-second time penalty there. Jared is right on the tail of RBR, who I don't think has gotten any form of penalty yet. 15 seconds ahead is Alan Hugo. If this move is going to happen here, it's going to have to be a tricky one, and as I say that, contact between Jared and RBR drops Jared down the order, back to 6th. Deathbro managed to get clear away from that one, but he is going to fall back behind the two AlphaTauri drivers. Your race winner then, as he crosses the line, is Alan Hugo, but this driver here, RBR, has managed to make the one-stop strategy work and fend off an onslaught of attacks from all sorts of drivers. Zach manages to hold on the P3. Somehow Mattia falls back into P4, P5, and P6, the two challenges on the inverse and two-stop strategies. Jared jumps up in the third due to the penalties. What a finish. You could not script it any other way. All the different strategies colliding into one. Absolutely crazy scenes here at the end of this Hungarian Grand Prix for RSF1. This has been your Xbox One Elite Series Tier 1. Wow. Is all I have to say to that one. What a finish. What a dramatic conclusion to this race here. Your 10th of the season. I'm speechless. I'm truly speechless at the end of that one there. Wow. What a finish. Congratulations to Alan Hugo for making that one stick. He's done such an amazing job in this race to control the pace. He's had his issues with penalties, but he's managed to make them stick. Jared, a brilliant job there to keep his nose clean throughout that race and avoid penalties to jumping back up in the P3. Could have been P2 if he would have kept his nose just that little bit cleaner. Driver of the day, I think there are a lot of drivers that could be touted as the driver of the day for today. But here we go to the podium ceremony. The Haas on the top step. Wow. That is just some crazy, crazy action. Crazy scenes at the conclusion of this one. So you have a Haas, Alfa Romeo, and a Red Bull on the podium here today. Wow. Well deserved from each of those drivers. Well then, in conclusion, two drivers kept their nose clean, and ultimately it ended in them being on the podium. In P1, you have Alan Hugo, P2, RBR 9709, P3, DRC Jared rounding off your podium with a good two-stop strategy there, making it work. P4, Zach, and P5, ABR Mattia, so good points hauls there from the AlphaTauri drivers. 12 seconds of penalties ultimately cost Death Bro towards the end, getting half of those after he lost front wing in an exchange between RBR and himself. P7, we have Zolo, P8, Banana Peel, P9, Oz Formula, P10, and New Zealand Venom, and P11, we have Jamie, JW21. I have been your commentator for today, LSC Butler, Kian Butler. This has been RSF1. Thank you so much for watching. What a conclusion we had. Tune in next week for some more awesome scenes and the next track we visit. Have a lovely